friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo and Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys and you ladies, you know this literally does not work. So let's get open for business and let's wake up those football gods here this morning on Hump Day. Hope you guys had a great Taco Tuesday. And now we sit here, oh my God, one day, 10 hours, 4 minutes, and 50 seconds away from the beginning of the 21 draft. Man, can you believe it? It's almost like Christmas. The NFL draft is really like Christmas because you got the shiny new players that you're getting on your team. It's bringing you all kinds of hope. You can't wait till tomorrow night to unwrap it. I have literally been working towards Christmas here since the end of the season, and I'm excited as can be. I'm ready to try and put everything that I've done so far this offseason to work and hope that you guys will be entertained. I mean, seriously, be entertained because we're going to have fun. We're going to have a couple of guest hosts that will be chiming in. We'll be going around the YouTube blogosphere to different YouTubers and things. We, of course, will be covering the Cowboys, breaking down the players that we draft. And of course, we'll be eating some Joe Boo wings. And as soon as I get finished here, I got to go get me a couple of pork shoulders because we're going to do some pulled pork as well. NFL news. Farley, who seems to have a hard time catching a break, who should have been possibly the number one defensive back taken, who ended up having back surgery, which put up the red flags, has now tested positive for COVID. Now, his agent said there's no symptoms or anything like that. He feels fine and all that, but that's just kind of like, another little knock right here the day before the draft. So we'll see what happens with Farley. Also, Tampa Bay, you can tell that Tampa Bay has now built a winning culture where everybody in Tampa Bay wants to stay in Tampa Bay. They want to run this thing back together again. They are literally keeping the band back together. They have re-signed Antonio Brown for $3 million. So, they are looking at it from the standpoint of we can run this shit around one more time. And guys are kind of taking a little bit less money to stay there to try and get another ring. Can't be mad at them for trying to do that. I look at my Cowboys and wonder, is there a plan overall? Now, we got a little bit of insight yesterday from the press conference from Jerry Jones. There's a lot of fans that keep thinking Kyle Pitts. And he's not going to be there at 10. The only way you get Kyle Pitts is you trade up. And when you think about what the 49ers had to do to go from 11 to 3, and they seem to be having their sights set on Mac Jones, allegedly. I think they gave up 3 number ones and some other picks to move up that far. You'd probably have to move up with Atlanta, which is quarterback territory. And Jerry Jones is getting a little older and wiser, basically has said exactly this. This is a great quote. Don't be stupid over your needs. I think I need to put that on a plaque because that translates to so many different things. Don't be stupid over your needs. You could say, don't go out and spend $500 on a pair of sneakers when you're living in your mom's basement. Don't be stupid over your needs. The Cowboys have a pretty good offense. Could that offense be better? Hell yes, it could be better. It could be. But you look at our needs, it's defense. And Jerry Jones is kind of telling you, listen, I'd love to add a guy like that. It's great talk for the media and everything, but don't be stupid over your needs. And with so many teams needing quarterbacks and trying to go gaga over it, Jerry Jones is looking at this more as an opportunity to get better. Because the funny thing is, I sometimes I feel like I'm talking to myself. You can put all the data out there and people will still think, nah, that's bullshit. Doesn't pass the eye test. More times than not, 80% of the time when a team trades up for a quarterback, trades way up into the first round, it's in bust territory. It's out of desperation. It's out of, we've got no choice. And the only time you move up that far is for a quarterback. We got burned with Morris Claiborne. First and a second. Wasn't, several number ones. But not only did we lose out on Morris Claiborne, that second round pick could have been, a DeMarcus Lawrence. That second round pick could have been, a Jalen Smith to go along with that first round pick. You look back, past draft history of the Cowboys moving back and taking Travis Frederick. At the time, people laughed. You took a center in the first round. Are you stupid? Are you crazy? Or just plain stupid? But you got a perennial Pro Bowl center. A guy who was the field general, a guy who anchored the offensive line, a guy who you miss. So if you're hitting on a first-round pick, he becomes a solid part of your team. How is it stupid? And then you got a wide receiver to go with him that was a capable wide receiver in Terrence Williams. So Jerry Jones, I think, is looking at this situation and saying there's so many teams out here that are in desperation mode, that are trying to take care of their needs at quarterback. And it may be an opportunity for me to get more value because, as Jerry put it yesterday, it's about value. You don't trade up losing value to reach for a guy. You don't. What you do is you try and get more back. That's the art of a deal. You want to get more back than you're giving away. And the Cowboys, and I'm not recommending trading, let's trade the 29th. And, no, I'm not recommending that. But if somebody comes through 15 or below, New England Patriots, and wants to try and get a shot at that quarterback, and you can end up getting, because think about this, moving back 5 places or so, what if you get offered 2 number ones and say a third? Next year's number one. See, if you're a team like New England, you could look at it from the standpoint of saying last year was the exception and not the rule for us. We had 8 players that sat out because of COVID. We took a redshirt year to get our house in order. We get a quarterback. We get back our other guys that are healthy. We've spent money in free agency. We're going to be back on the top. So our draft pick next year is not going to be 15. Maybe it's 25 or worse. So you look at it from the standpoint of saying, yeah, we could be a whole lot better if we move up. And giving away a first is really kind of a second. Maybe they offer that. You never know. And if that deal comes knocking, you got to look at it from saying, well, if we're getting a number one, we talk about losing like Michael Gallup or somebody like that. We got an extra number one, of course, with our number one. Who knows what you're able to do? And that's what you have to look at. You can't be short-sighted now. Everything you do has ramifications for today as well as for tomorrow. And so that's where Jerry Jones is talking about value and not being stupid over your needs. Trading up for Kyle Pitts would be stupid. Now, if Kyle Pitts is there, you kind of have to take him there. You kind of have to take, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But trading up, you don't do. But with this, the other side of the equation is you may see them take, if depending on how this thing falls. You say Parsons may be there. And because of what they did with Leighton Vander Esch, where they said, we'll deal with this after the draft, there may be a plan there at linebacker, because here's the whole fly in the ointment that at least this is from me looking at everything that's out there. Next week, May 3rd, is the date in which case free agent signings don't count against you as far as compensatory picks. Now, I believe because Andy Dalton signed his $11 million deal that the Cowboys are on pace to get maybe a fourth round or maybe a fourth or a fifth round compensatory pick. Not a whole lot. We're not getting a Byron Jones one. But because the Cowboys have signed bottom basement price guys, they at least will get an extra pick from that. However, if you sign a free agent in kind before May 3rd, then that counts against losing that one. You follow me? So if we signed KJ Wright for a 2-year deal that's $10 million, well, you don't get a compensatory pick because they look at it and say, you lost that guy, but you got this guy who's about the same amount of money. So come May 3rd is when that period stops. So if KJ Wright is signed after May 3rd, then you don't lose anything as far as compensatory picks. And this may be where the Cowboys are thinking, we get Micah Parsons, maybe we sign KJ Wright, and then we don't extend Vander Esch. Because the reality is what else is going to change for Vander Esch? We won't know if he's going to be healthier for a whole season or his career in a week. What might change is you might bring in somebody to be the person that's going to replace him. So that's another one of those things. But in the end, whether it is J.C. Horn, whether it is Patrick Surtain, whether it is Micah Parsons, all of those will help that defense. Now, for me, everybody always wants to go corner. But here's the thing that's the other side of the equation. In the same way, you got the best center in football in the first round, a position that's not valued really as a first-round position. You can look at other positions and because they're not valued as high, be able to get one of the top prospects. And that's where you look at, if you do make a trade, maybe you're trading back into the first for the best interior defensive lineman or the best safety. And then that way you're kind of taking care of two needs and getting two premier players on your defense with what you have returning and a new coaching may be enough to start turning the cycle around. So I still have a bunch of work to do to finish getting set up. I still have to get the other microphone hooked up. Shout out to Amazon getting that other mic plug here to me this morning. And I can get the other microphone hooked up. Got to get the other camera set up. Need to power wash the deck and get that all looking pretty and just get everything ready. I don't know about you, but I am as excited as can be. I can't wait to put all this stuff to use. And hopefully our Cowboys will have a draft that's at least as successful as last year's. I'm Mark Holmes, and, well, you know the deal.
Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, high five!